the store.
He's got a little more hair, but close.
Okay. Yes, he does.
everybody for coming. I'd like to thank Jesus and his staff at the Hilton for the wonderful meal and the wonderful service. We'll get things started this evening with Jerry Nichols, our District Operating Manager. He's going to give some reflection on Ray's work history and some other anecdotes.
I just wanted to ask Donna one thing. Could you get a podium any higher? You know, when you're as short as I am, you really can't take this kind of, abuse. Yeah, maybe I do need a chair here. I do want to share a little bit with you this evening about Ray's career, but, there are a few other things that I think we want to do this evening, and one of the things is to recognize some of the people that are here this evening. I was really impressed, Ray, with the group of people that I saw in this room. When I came in, I thought, boy, what a great-looking group of people. And I kind of roamed around. I got to meet a few of them and so forth, and it became pretty obvious pretty quick that we all had something in common, Ray. You owe all of us money. And that's the reason everybody's here tonight, We don't want to see you get away without paying us off. So that's something I think all of us are going to be talking to you about after this little deal. And Donna, where is Donna again? It's right over here close to me. You got to keep facing this thing. That's kind of bad, These jokes that I give tonight might not be too good. The only person I have much influence on in this room is Donna. So Donna, I expect boisterous laughter from your area, okay, this evening. No one else may laugh, but Donna will be. So if that happens, you'll know what's going on. Well, I'm not going to have a real long speech. Well, let me rephrase that then. I don't necessarily enjoy listening to a real long speech either. Unfortunately, I do deserve giving a real long speech. So, just for that, Mr. Saccone, you can sit there and listen with all the rest of us, okay? Now might be a good time, though, for us to talk a little bit or introduce some of the folks that are here tonight that are special people. Certainly, the whole Gray Bar El Paso crew, and I'm not going to go through every employee, but the whole crew is here to honor Ray this evening, so I think we ought to give the whole crew a little hand here. And certainly the first introduction, the special introduction that should be made, is for a delightful lady that I met this evening, Ray's wonderful wife, Ruby. She's sitting right over here. If you have not met Ruby, you've missed a treat. You should meet Ruby. She's a really nice person. And if you'll look right here, we have the whole Brochu clan, I guess you would say, at this table with children and spouses, and we didn't have any of the grandchildren here this evening. I learned they have 8 grandchildren, Ray and Ruby do. They have 6 children, 3 boys and 3 girls, and what a fine-looking group of children, I would have to say that. I think you would agree. I have to say that one thing that makes them look especially good to me, did you ever see such a head of hair on all those guys? Look at them. Now, I don't want you to worry about it, guys. I especially notice that kind of thing. You can probably see why, but, I don't want you guys to worry about it, but kind of look at old Dad here, You might have something to look forward to. We have, I probably ought to introduce all of the kids, and I'll probably not do this very well. I've got some names here, but I'm not going to be able to put the faces with the names. I know that. But I want you to know where they came from, the fact that they did come from, some of them, quite a distance to be here tonight. I think that's good in its own right. We have Mike and Marlene Crumley. They live right here in El Paso. Okay. We have Mike, and I guess Dee Dee couldn't be with us this evening. Okay. But they live in Washington State. Is that Issaquah? Is that correct? Issaquah. Okay. Paul and Becky Brochu are here this evening from the Woodlands, Texas. Is that somewhere around Dallas or Houston? Okay. Paul and, well, I've already mentioned Paul and Becky. How about Mary and Greg Bell? from Arlington, Texas. Okay. Ron and Ann, oh, here I go. Lightsey, okay. They live right here in El Paso. And then John and Kim Brochu from Plano, Texas. So you can see we have some visitors this evening from, quite a distance, and I think that's great. We also have tonight some retired Gray Bar employees who I think came to kind of give Ray some pointers on being retired, okay? Al Hubenek, I met Al and his wife just a few minutes ago. I had not met Al before, but I've heard a lot about you, Al. I won't tell you what I've heard, but I have heard a lot about you. And I didn't get to meet, I'm assuming, is Larry Norris here? No, Larry didn't come. I had him on my list that he was to be here tonight. He's another retired Gray Bar employee. We also have some suppliers with us tonight. This is kind of a mixed bag. We generally don't have employees and family and all in the same room at the same time, but we have some suppliers here. I met the Klein rep a few minutes ago. Bill Cook, is Bill around back there, right? So Bill's with us and his wife. I couldn't remember the date of the anniversary, or remember that, but very soon now, in May, they're going to take a cruise to Alaska. Compliments of their children, by the way, which I think is great. And Gray Bar Electric Company is signed by me as a representative of all of our employees. It is our hope that your years of endeavor for our company will be rewarded by many years of happy retirement. So, Ray, congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. It's indeed an honor to have all of you here and help me celebrate these 40 years of service and my retirement. Thank you for coming.
And is almost unheard of in this corporate world of acquisitions, mergers, buyouts, downsizing that we see all around us. It's been largely replaced by career incentives and what we refer to as the almighty dollar. That kind of loyalty, the kind that is exemplified here, is almost unheard of. Gray Bar, I'm sure that at this point in time you feel very gracious for the service and the dedication that you've received from this man sitting on my right. And at the same time, as Jerry alluded to, I'm sure that you also feel a great sense of loss, not only for such a valued employee, but also for such a great individual. Some of you probably have known Ray Brochu for longer than I've been alive. And tonight I'd like to reflect a little bit on some of the things that maybe you don't know about it. And that's some of the things on his family side of life. 6 kids for as many years. That's also something that's very uncommon in today's world, having 6 children. It's something that takes a lot of dedication, a lot of time, and a lot of effort. Family's already been introduced to you, but I would just like to point out that each of the 6 children has all been through a 4-year college and has received a bachelor's degree. And I think that's an accomplishment in itself. But one thing that I would like to mention, and that's that he had a lot of help. And I'd just like to take this time to mention my mom, Ruby. Just to say that she was the backbone of the support that we all received. And we had a lot of encouragement and a lot of help from them, or else we couldn't have been where we are today. I know that in the next few words that I'm going to say, I can speak for all my siblings. Last night, we had a party for Dad for his retirement with his family and his close friends. And my 2 older brothers, got up and made a toast. And my oldest brother, Mike, told a story that we can all relate to, and that is that when he was leaving Seattle one of his friends said, "What's going on this weekend?" He said, "My dad's retiring after 40 years." And the reaction was that we get all over the place. 40 years? You're kidding me, right? No. Well, are you going to go to it? We look at them like they're stupid. Are you kidding? How can we miss an event like this after all of our accomplishments and all of our trials? Dad's been there for us. So we're there for him tonight. Dad's perseverance and competitive spirit is obvious in all of his children. We were always taught to be the best that we could be and never to settle for second place. We were always taught to strive for excellence and for first place, leaving the competition in the dust and not looking back, but only looking forward to the next event that we would win. Sitting around the dinner table, which Dad was adamant about us doing every night as a family. We would sit and talk about our school days and the grades we made, and by the way, dinner was a very competitive event in itself with the 6 children. There's only so much food in this world. But in discussing our daily activities at school, we talked about our grades, and we were very often prepared when talking about a test after receiving a 97 or a 98 out of 100, answering to the question that was always there from Dad, which was, where are the other 2 or 3 points? But that was always followed by a statement saying, you can get that 100 out of that test. You're the best there is, and there's no reason why you shouldn't. Anything you put your mind to, you can accomplish. And I think that's something that Dad has always lived by, and I think he put his mind to a successful family and career, and he has accomplished that. I think each one of the children are very successful in their careers and their families, and I don't think that any one of them would not say that most of their success is attributable to their upbringing from their parents. But at home, Dad was also, he was quite the protector, as most dads would like their children to see them as. I remember a time when I came home from the park near our house and walking into the den, Mom and Dad and a few of the kids were all huddled around a coffee can. And they were all looking at it, marveled at what was inside. And after further investigation, I found that Dad had captured a flying hairy bat off of our back porch window. And I listened to the story of how he bravely caught it, this vampire-like creature, you know, with fangs out to here and long hair, and captured it as his trophy, still alive. After begging him to open the can so I could see it, I finally convinced him to. And noticing immediately that this was the same flying hairy bat that I had won at a carnival and stuck it to the back glass with a suction cup, I retreated to the bedroom, only to be pursued by Dad the protector. Now turns Dad the disciplinarian. Dad was very much a disciplinarian, and I think we're all very thankful for that. He was very clever in the way he did it. One example was me coming home after missing a curfew, which I rarely did. And finding my way through the house in the dark, which Dad knew I was able to do. So he closed my bedroom door, knowing I would slam into it, letting him know I was home safely. But Dad was also a great teacher. Every year, he'd take the boys fishing and spend a week in the mountains in a tent. And I remember a lot of summers in which I felt like spending time with my buddies or hanging around the local pool looking at girls was more important than going on a boring fishing trip with my father, excuse me. I always ended up going. I always had the time of my life. It was during these trips that I was able to learn more about this man who was raising me and gain a new respect for the things that he made us do as children and the things that he wouldn't let us do. In retrospect, those times were the most influential in my life. He taught us to respect the land. He taught us to take care of things so that they would last. He taught us to never quit. He taught us to always give 110%. He taught us to take time out for the things that are most important in our lives. And it was obvious to me all throughout my life what was most important to him, and that was his family. He taught us to love our country. Every 4th of July, we'd wake up at 6 in the morning to blaring marching music. But the flag was always waving in the front yard. He taught us to be thankful for the country that we live in. He taught us to always look nice, to always dress well, to always present ourselves, to always stand up straight, just like he did. And that says a lot. He taught us that first impressions mean everything. He taught us to put our families first, put our faith in God, and if in everything we did we were always honest, then everything would work out okay. And honesty is something else I'd like to touch on for just a second. Because honesty is one of those words that's kind of fallen into a gray area, it seems, in today's world. But I think here sitting in front of you is a man who describes the word honesty, or fits the word honesty, perfectly. I remember going to a hardware store one Saturday afternoon, as we often did. Dad was quite the handyman around the house. And going after a couple of bags of cement. And upon coming home, I realized that I had only been charged for one. And so I went to Dad and discussed my good fortune and told him how excited I was, how we gypped the store, only to be disheartened because he sent me back to pay for the second one. I was embarrassed at the time. I was angry for him making me do this. And I stormed back, not understanding it. But I understand it today. And that little example, stays with me. And it's something that I wish was a little more obvious in today's world. When you think about the golden rule, I think about Ray Brochu and my dad, and I wish that more people had that attitude. Another one of Dad's great attributes is his tremendous faith in God and his religion. I mean, here's a man who's been through a few open heart surgeries. And look at him. He's obviously been talking to somebody up there. But seeing Dad on his knees every night before he went to bed, thanking God for his family, for his job, for all he had, that was definitely an inspiration for us children. Dad's attention and time given to his family outside of his career were more than anyone could ask for, especially any child. I don't remember a football game that I played in that Dad wasn't there. I never even had to look up in the stands because I knew he was there. He was at all of our track meets, basketball games, dance recitals, you name it. He even traveled to Odessa one time to sit in sub-zero weather, see me lose 48-0. That's dedication. Looking at Dad's application back there, I think it was from 1960. One of his hobbies he put on there was gardening. And I think that's still one of his favorite things to do. Our yard was always the best kept on the block, and it still is. He takes a lot of pride in that. I think whatever you can find in the produce section at the grocery store has some variation of it at some point in time has been grown in our backyard. I can remember sitting at the dinner table eating homegrown lettuce, as bitter as it was, and carrots that were this big, with big smiles on our faces, because we were real proud of his efforts. But most of the time, I must admit, the tomatoes, the cucumbers, and squash, they were better than the local grocer's dad. And something else that I got to mention tonight is Dad's hobby of model building. Dad's been working on a ship, the USS Constitution, since 1978. So now that he's retiring, I believe the projected completion date has been moved up to 2010, Dad? Okay. We're all looking forward to that day. I think we're going to blow it up, right, Dad? Correct. I hope the audience tonight will get to wish Ray and Ruby bon voyage on their cruise to Alaska. The family worked real hard at putting that together, and we're real proud to be able to send them on that. We just feel that it's about time to get them away from us annoying kids for a while. In closing, I'd just like to say that it's been quite an honor for me to stand up here in front of my dad's peers for so many years, in front of our family. To talk about somebody that I admire so deeply. I'm sure that when you think of Ray Brochu, you think of a hard-working, well-respected man, a real company man. And we think of him as a great man, a loving father, a great leader, a persistent teacher, an honest citizen, and a man of tremendous faith. All of these things that I wish I were, and that I'm striving to be. And that because of the example that I've seen. Ray Brochu has definitely been that example for all of us. When I got married less than 2 years ago, I stood at the altar, and my chest swelled up with pride. Because my beautiful bride, and because the man standing on my right, my best man, my friend, my dad. Dad, you've always been so proud of us and have always been there for us to tell us that, and I know that you've probably told everyone in here stories about us 10 times that they're tired of hearing. But tonight I'm just glad to be able to stand up here and say that tonight we're very proud of you. Congratulations.
DNO, RFG, meaning retired from Graybar.
Great.
Again, Ray, you ought to be quite proud of your family and a job well done, John. You guys look like a fantastic group. You ought to be proud.
Supporting and understanding a 40-year career. Ray, on behalf of all Grapevine employees, thank you for once again reminding us that dedication, loyalty, and hard work, it has its rewards. Tonight I know that everyone in this room joins me in wishing happiness and health for you and your family. Thank you again. The plaque reads, presented to Raymond Brochu in recognition of his retirement on March 31st, 1994 from Great Bar Electric El Paso after 40 years of service. Thank you again. Congratulations, Ray.
Thank you very much. This is a very great honor for me, and I also want to thank my children for being here, all the fellow Great Bar employees, and all other people who were invited. I do appreciate this, and I say again, it's a great honor. Thank you.
Our next presentation I'm going to do, in as much as the person that should be doing this is at Gray Bar, Honolulu, many, many miles away across the ocean. Bob Strever would really like to be here tonight, as he was Ray's operating manager for about 4 years. And when he found that we were having this dinner, he sent in something special for Ray. He sent a Gray Bar Honolulu hat and a Gray Bar Honolulu sweatshirt with the islands printed. A special message for Ray from Bob Strever. The Strever Sheraton is open. Your room is ready whenever you want to come over. We have another special presentation we're doing for Ray tonight. You all signed in a book when you came in this evening. If not, please sign it. This book we have special made for Ray, and it's kind of a tribute and a scrapbook from his party tonight. It starts out with the invitation. It's also got a copy of his calendar where we kept track of his days absent and sick days and whatever. A copy of his final payroll, final work slip, one of his business, time slip, yes, and one of his business cards. And from there on out, there are letters that were sent in from friends, from suppliers, from customers, from people at corporate. We have approximately 40 letters of congratulations that were sent to Ray that are included in this book. Special personal messages to him. We have about 4 retirement cards that were sent in. We're going to present it to him for a while so he can read the letters. I need it back though, Ray. We're going to put in pictures from tonight's dinner, so we have pictures of the engagement as well. But we'll give it to you right now so you can read these letters. We have Steve Walsh to thank for that. Steve, this is the last time we'll razz you about that. We promise. Bill Cook, our Klein rep, has a presentation that he would like to make to Ray at this time.
I want to say that Ray is part of the Klein family also. As John has testified to, we appreciate all the work he's done for Klein Tools. They said that you all were 125 years old. Klein Tools is 134 years old. They were one of our first, or the first, marketing representative in the United States to sell Klein Tools, and they're also our largest customer. And it's only because people like Ray Brochu has worked and dedicated himself to that. We'd like to present him with a nut driver set, 7-piece nut driver set. You can take it to Alaska if you like. It works on ships too. And thank you for all the help all these years, Ray. God bless.
Thank you, Bill. We appreciate the presentation. Ruby, I have a presentation I'd like to make to you. If you'd come up here, please. You are truly a rose among roses, and it doesn't even begin to say thank you on behalf of all the Gray Bar employees, to not just you, Ruby, but to all Gray Bar spouses that put up with the idiosyncrasies that go with Gray Bar, the years of inventory hassles. You didn't get to go into all the moves that a lot of Gray Bar spouses get involved with, but you still had 40 years, and from all of us, thank you. Thank you very much. Beautiful. I really appreciate it. Thank you. We were a reading of what we're going to call a last will and testament, and that sounded so morbid, we decided, no, we really aren't going to call it that. We're going to call it the retirement will and testament. Philip Earle is going to present this, and I have promised that he will only spend no more than 5 minutes. Philip will talk your ear off if you allow him.
Thank you. Ray, honeydews, and they certainly don't need a lot of red tape. To the salesman, I leave behind instructions on how to use the SF-229. Please pay special attention to the instructions regarding ship to, FOB, and especially freight. And to the CSRs, I leave you each a tie. In my day, it was part of the business attire. And I think you all would look so much more professional. Besides, your manager of customer service, Donald Parson, also agrees. P.S. Philip, get a haircut. That's what he did. And last but not least, my charm and sense of work ethic. I leave knowing that you too will take pride in yourselves and in your work. Remember, I need those retirement checks to keep coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Philip. Some of you may not understand what some of those refer to from us from the CSR meetings. We know, the salesman, you know. Definitely. David Bueno has a little tribute that he'd like to give at this time.
Ray Brochu, it has been an honor to have been a fellow employee of yours for almost 20 years. Having worked with you all these years, you showed me that an almost perfect employee should be like. What an almost imperfect should be like. I saw you handle problems both on the telephone and in the office with customers and handle them right then and there. I remember when you were the CSR that handled Henry Chaparro's export customers, even though you did not speak the language. I always wondered how you did that. But I guess an employee such as you always found a way to get the job done. Well, enough with the words. My wife Esther and myself want to wish you the very best retirement and hope that one day I will be as fortunate as you to retire from this great company of ours. Thank you.
Thank you, David. We'll give Jesus and his staff just a few minutes to pour the champagne. And Michael, if you will offer the toast as soon as they get finished.
It's a toast. The most successful person I know. And the most successful couple that I know. When I was telling people to follow up a little bit, John is a tough act to follow. I know we all stand behind everything you said. The second question I always got, after you said, hey, I'm going down to see my dad retire after 40 years. They said, was he successful? I said, he's the most successful man I know. Because we all find out sooner or later that you don't measure a man's success necessarily by the personal wealth that he has or has not attained. But you measure it by the impact that he has had on his life, his family's life, and all the rest of the people that he's come in contact with. And it's real clear sitting here tonight and talking to all you wonderful people that my dad has had the same kind of impact on you folks that, as you heard my brother John state, that he has had on this family. And I think it's those kinds of things that people will remember about my dad. Not whether or not he got an order out, that kind of stuff goes to the wayside. Clearly, once in a while, now that he's gone, you can blame him if he's gone. You all do that. But I think people will remember my dad because, he showed me this. He taught me this. He did this for me. And Dad, that's what has made you, in my mind, and I know in the eyes of our family, the most successful man I know. And Mom, you deserve to stand right there next to him. So if I can ask you all to grab a glass and raise that glass in honor of Ray and Ruby Brochu, my mom and dad, for all you have on all of us over 40 years plus. And may you continue to have success as you go forward in your new life. But more importantly, Mom and Dad, may you have the best and brightest happiness in life. Hear, hear. Hear, 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 hear. You cannot ask for more than that. And I'm glad that my wife is included, because behind every successful person, a man, there's another person. And in my life, that person is my wife. I'm very proud of her, and I'm sure that you are proud, as you are proud of me, that this will envelop you so that someday perhaps you will be in this position. It is a great honor. Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank you all for coming tonight to honor Ray. I'd like to say a special thank you at this time to Philip, Rod, and Steve for their will and testament input. Thanks to Alice. She was my right-hand person. We couldn't have pulled this off if we hadn't had Alice helping with everything, and Annie for your help from the family side. Steve, I said it was one more time. Thank you for letting Ray in on the letter, okay? No more, I promise. Thanks again to the Hilton and their staff for the wonderful service. To the printers for the invitation. Thank you to all my presenters tonight. Thank you for a wonderful job. Thank you to Jim Schwartzbach, photography, and Steve Miller on the video camera. Whether you guys knew or not, you're being videotaped tonight. If you were sitting by somebody you don't want to be seen with, sorry. And again, thank you all for attending. I have one closing note I'd like to say. Calvin Coolidge was quoted as saying, "No person was ever honored for what he received. Honor has been the reward for what he gave." And Ray, we are truly honoring you tonight for all that you have given us. Thank you very much.
You have a lot to do to get things done.